Hi guys, welcome to Wrestling Retrospective, and in this video I'll be doing my predictions for WWE Crown Jewel 2024. So first up we have Seth Rollins taking on Bronson Reed in a monster versus monster, or monster who feels like a monster and likes it match. For me, this is Seth Rollins to win. In my opinion, we really shouldn't be pushing Bronson Reed. I don't care about Bronson Reed at all. But Rollins, we need to push, as he needs to be a threat come Royal Rumble, in my opinion. Like, even if he isn't going to win it, as far as WrestleMania goes, I assume Punk is on the agenda. Therefore, they need to kind of build Rollins' stock back up again. And that starts here with a win over Bronson Reed, some kind of involvement in Survivor Series, I assume. I'm not sure what, as I don't think he's going to be entering into War Games this year. So I'm not sure what he'll do at Survivor Series, but I mean, I'm hoping he's to face Gunther, but then I also want Punk to face Gunther, so, you know, either way. But for me, yeah, what makes the most sense here is that Seth Rollins gets the win and starts picking up victories on the way to the Royal Rumble, where he will be no doubt one of the more favourable picks to win the match, but I don't think he will win it. But as I said, this starts with the build of Seth Rollins and a win over Bronson Reed. Next up, we have the women's tag team title match, where we have the Metaphor, or Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. I'm not sure if they're still part of Metaphor or not. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, Damage Control, taking on the champions of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. In a match that I'm actually fairly interested in, like more than I probably have been for the women's titles, mainly because there's multiple people I want to win this match. I'd be happy if Belair and Cargill kept the titles on them. They obviously lost their titles in the last multi-team match they had against the Unholy Union and I think it was Baszler and Stark, or now known as Pure Fusion Collective. And for me, as much as I want Damage Control to get the win here, it feels like they should be building Io Sky more towards the Royal Rumble, similar to what I said about Rollins. If anything, Io should be one of the favourites going into the match, if not a dark horse to win the thing, in my opinion. There's also the case of Chelsea Green. If anyone deserves a championship in 2024, it is Chelsea Green. She has been absolutely killing it all year, and to go into the final parts of the year as a champion would be awesome. But it's also a case of I can't see them taking the belts off Bianca and Cargill quite yet. I feel like they'll lose them before WrestleMania for sure, to set up maybe to set up a match with them, though it's not the match I choose. I'd probably still have them be associated with each other after they lose the championships, just for WrestleMania. But for me, I feel like the one team that definitely isn't winning is Metaphor. But for me, I'm going to go with Belair and Cargill to retain the championships, just because, again, they probably want to keep the titles important and on them for now. So then whoever gets them next, it can be a massive deal, and hopefully can keep the titles at kind of the level they're at the minute, which is actually probably the best like prestige they've had since their inception, I'd probably say. So, you know, hat off to Belair and Cargill, who have really brought prestige back to the championships. And as much as I want Chelsea Green to be a champion, and as much as I want Io Sky to be a champion, I do feel like the champions will retain in this one. But for me, they need to be building Io Sky and Chelsea Green up towards the Royal Rumble as possible winners, in my opinion, anyway. Next up, we have LA Knight defending the United States Championship against Andrade and Carmelo Hayes in a triple threat match. And a match I really think is a dark horse to be match of the night here. These two have been absolutely killing it in the mid-card of SmackDown. Obviously, we've seen Andrade and Carmelo go at it enough times at this point that we pretty much know we're going to get out of those two. But adding the element of LA Knight, I think is really cool. And I think out of all his defenses, this is probably the match that has the most jeopardy to his championship. But I am going to go with LA Knight to retain here, as I can't see them putting the title on Andrade or Carmelo Hayes. I don't think it's going to be Andrade because he's already Speed champion, so technically he's already a champion, and I can't see them having two titles with that as well. And Carmelo Hayes is the man who says he doesn't miss and yet continues to miss continuously. So, and I hope that makes sense. But yeah, for me, LA Knight's way too over right now to be taking the title off him. I assume he might lose it at maybe WrestleMania. But yeah, for now, I can't see him losing the title anytime soon. If anything, Carmelo and Andrade might even cost themselves the match, and I just pray that they don't have another match because of that. But yeah, for me, 100% LA Knight's going to get the win here, but really, this is a dark horse to get a match of the night, in my opinion. Following that, we have Randy Orton taking on Kevin Owens in a pretty big grudge match, in my opinion. Kevin Owens should 100% be getting the win here. He needs this win to establish himself as a proper heel, just force going forward. It wouldn't shock me if he ended up aligning himself with Solo and that for War Games, especially if Sami Zayn is part of the face team. And obviously they've got Cody on the face team as well. But yeah, for me, as much as a lot of people are talking about how much Randy Orton's been losing on pay-per-view this year, Kevin Owens needs this win so much more, and that's why I'm going to go with him to get the championship, to get the win here in what I assume will be a very, very good match between these two. Following that, we have the inaugural Women's Crown Jewel Championship match between Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, and this is a very hard match to predict when I've come down and sat and thought about it. Jesus Christ, words. Yeah, for me, we could have the element of Tiffy Stratton. She could come in, cash in on either one of these women and take the title away. And does that mean she wins the Crown Jewel Championship as well? I don't know. To say that she cashed in and won the Crown Jewel Championship is quite a funny sentence, I'm not going to lie. You've also got the case of, could Naomi come down and cost Nia Jax the match? That's definitely a possibility. Not as much of a possibility as Rhea Ripley showing up and costing Liv Morgan the match. And I feel like that is the one we're going to get. I feel like both matches for the Crown Jewel Championship are going to have shenanigans. Both of them are not going to be clean finishes. But for me, I think Nia Jax is going to win this by the skin of her teeth. And it's all going to be because of Rhea Ripley costing Liv Morgan the match and causing absolute chaos to continue their feud onto Survivor Series, where I assume they will be the two captains of War Games teams. If I had to guess the teams, it would probably be Rhea, Bianca, Jade, Lyra, and somebody else, I assume, maybe. And then on the heel side, you've got Liv, Raquel, and probably, as much as everyone's going to hate it, Pure Fusion Collective to make the 5. Unless they go with 4 and they choose other people, I'm not sure. But yeah, for me, it just makes the most sense that Rhea costs Liv here, but doesn't cost her the title, so then she can win the title back, but she still has cost Liv something important, if that makes sense. So yeah, for me, as much as I really don't want to see it, and I was very, very to the last minute was convinced that Liv Morgan was going to win this match, it actually makes the most sense that Nia would steal this one because of Rhea Ripley, and it will continue Liv and Rhea's feud on for a little bit, compared to Nia and Naomi, who isn't really that much of a feud, or not much of a personal feud as much as Liv and Rhea right now. So yeah, for me, Nia Jax is going to get the win and become the first ever Women's Crown Jewel Champion. Following that, we have the first ever Men's Crown Jewel Championship between Cody Rhodes and Gunther, and for me, I've said Gunther since the beginning and I'm sticking with him now. It makes 100% the most sense. Losses for him are few and far between, and his whole run as World Heavyweight Champion so far has been rectifying the losses that he's already had, you know, with the likes of Randy Orton and others who I can't think of right now. But for me also, Cody can afford to take a loss, whereas Gunther can't. Cody can quite happily take a loss here, especially if it's a screwy finish. I assume Kevin Owens will get involved in this match through one way or another and cost Cody this match. Therefore, something important, similar to Liv and Rhea, something important has been taken from Cody, even though it's not that important. And yeah, we kind of get that feud going into Survivor Series. And then we have Gunther as the first ever Crown Jewel Champion. He gets to have his CV improve even more. And yeah, just for me, Gunther getting the win here makes 100% the most sense. I can always see how it's going to go. But yeah, 100%. Since the beginning, I said Gunther, and that's what I'm sticking with now. And finally, what I assume will be the main event, we have the Bloodline versus Roman Reigns and the Usos. I don't know whether they're calling themselves the Bloodline. I'm not calling them Bloodline because that would be very, very confusing. Or people call them the OG Bloodline, if you will. But yeah, for me, though, Solo and the Bloodline are going to get the win here. It makes the most sense as far as Survivor Series goes, and just, I don't know, in general, just kind of, if we're going to go and have War Games at Survivor Series, which will be Roman Usos, apparently Zayn and Cody taking on Solo, Jacob, the Tongans, and someone else. I'm hoping it's Hikuleo, but I'm really not sure who it's going to be. I can also see it being Kevin Owens just to shithouse everyone. But for me, Roman and the Usos and their team get the win at Survivor Series. Therefore, the Bloodline, as in Solo and everyone, get the win here, meaning that though they're back together again, Roman and the Usos, they still need help. And it is a case of they have the numbers advantage. Obviously, at this point, we don't know who out of the Bloodline we're going to get as the three. A lot of people, I feel like, will go with Solo and the Tongans, but they're probably going to have Jacob, so I assume it's going to be Solo, Jacob, and Tama Tonga. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be a very, very good match. Very, very cinema-like match that we saw near the middle of 2023 with, you know, Night of Champions, with Solo and Roman against Zayn and Owens, and obviously Bloodline Civil War at Money in the Bank. I expect it to be that kind of match. I'm not expecting a lot of rules to be followed here, and to be fair, it wouldn't shock me if this match got changed to Bloodline rules at some point, but I can't see him going that far with it quite yet, with War Games looming around the corner. But yeah, for me, it just makes 100% the most sense that Solo and his Bloodline get the win here, to then mean that Reigns and the Usos are still on the back foot and need building up even more towards War Games. So those are my predictions for WWE Crown Jewel 2024. Do you put down in the comments what you think is going to happen on the show? Do you think there's going to be any bigger moments? Which Bloodline is going to get the win? You know, who's going to be the first Crown Jewel champion? You know, all these things to be answered. Do you think that they're going to carry around the Crown Jewel Championship as well as their World Championships? I really can't see it happening, and it'll probably just be whatever the Saudi show is at the start of the year, which is at the which is the Night of Champions or King or Queen of the Ring, all that kind of stuff, and Crown Jewel at the end of the year. So I think that's the only time we're going to see those championships, which is kind of good because they're kind of ugly. But yeah, I mean, you know, do put in the comments what you think is going to be the better match on the show, what you're looking forward to, as I've already said. And yeah, I will thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be the review of this show. So yes, I mean, do follow the Patreon as well. I do have one; it's linked in the description. I do watch along of wrestling matches from all kinds of eras and all kind of matches. The most recent one I did, I think of this recording, is John Cena and the Great Khali going at it. That might be coming out on Saturday, actually. So the one I've just done will be Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai in a Street Fighter NXT TakeOver Portland. But yeah, do go check that out. It's completely free to join. So yeah, you don't have to pay anything to watch these matches and watch my watch-alongs. So I'm now every Monday, Wednesday and Saturday about 10 AM UK time for you to watch. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.